An IDF vehicle hit a landmine on the northern border with Lebanon and 2 soldiers were injured. Israel repealed the disengagement law for 4 communities in northern Samaria, and America responded as they usually do, strongly condemning Israel for this audacious act. And the world went crazy when Betzalel Smotrich made some honest statements at a conference in Paris. I'm Justin, and this is the Israel Guys. Welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Welcome back to the show, guys. It's a beautiful day here on the Mount of Blessing. I'm Justin Hilton, here with your news for today. First off, make sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our content. Like, share our content, do all that good stuff. Also, go check us out on social media. Give us a follow there on all the major platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Go give us a follow there. Guys, we are coming to the United States for 3 rallies. We are rallying for the biblical heartland of Israel, for Judea and Samaria. We would love to have you join us. There we have 3 rallies, one in Nashville on March 26th, another one in Houston on March 28th, and then in Dallas on March 30th. We would love to have you join us, so go to theisraelguys.com/rally or click the link in the description below to RSVP for one of these rallies. So for the news for today, Ben talked about this on his show last week, but a terrorist who is connected with Hezbollah came out that he infiltrated into Israel. He planted a bomb at the Megiddo Junction there in northern Israel. Actually, it just came out recently how he came into Israel was he climbed over the fence between the border between Lebanon and Israel instead of coming through a tunnel as people were originally thinking. An Arab man was driving by on the road. The bomb exploded and he was injured. I believe he is in stable condition now, but continued to pray for his full recovery. Israel made a statement. They said, quote, "If it is concluded that Hezbollah at its highest levels did order the attack, there will be consequences and Israel will not remain silent." So basically saying they will strike Lebanon if it's necessary, if they find out that Hezbollah was responsible for this attack. But yesterday, there was another attack. We don't know for sure if it was from Hezbollah at this point, but an IDF vehicle hit a landmine. This was on the border with Lebanon. One soldier was severely injured, another soldier lightly injured. They were both quickly evacuated to the hospital. As I said before, not sure if this was directly an attack from Hezbollah. The story is still developing. I'm sure more things, more news will be coming out in the coming days, in the coming weeks. But I believe, Israel's keeping an eye on Hezbollah, and they will strike if it's necessary, if it's proved that Hezbollah was directly behind these attacks. So Israel passed a law. They're repealing the disengagement of 4 communities in northern Samaria. Full show yesterday about that. Go check that out if you haven't watched it yet. So just a quick, brief summary on this. When Israel pulled out of Gaza in 2005, they destroyed, along with the settlements down there in Gaza and Gush Katif, part of those settlements, along with those settlements, 4 were destroyed in northern Samaria, including the settlement of Homesh, which you may have heard about, which they've tried to reestablish many, many times, been evacuated and destroyed and evicted over and over again. So a law repealing the disengagement from these 4 communities was just passed. The second and third readings were passed in the Knesset. And the U.S. administration, the Biden administration, is absolutely furious. They're very mad that Israel would dare to repeal this disengagement law. So the interim U.S. State Department spokesman, I believe Ned Price, is stepping down as the spokesman. So there's the interim spokesperson for the State Department, Vedant Patel. He condemned this move. Here's him condemning this.
The United States is extremely troubled that the Israeli Knesset has passed legislation rescinding important parts of the 2005 disengagement law, including the prohibition on establishing settlements in the northern West Bank. At least one of these outposts in this area, Homesh, was built on private Palestinian land, which is illegal under Israeli law. It is all the more concerning that such a significant piece of legislation passed with just 31 yes votes out of an assembly of 120 members. De-escalating and reducing violence are in all parties' interests, including Israel's. The U.S. strongly urges Israel to refrain from allowing the return of settlers to the area covered by the legislation, consistent with both former Prime Minister Sharon and the current Israeli government's commitment to the United States. We have been clear that advancing settlements is an obstacle to peace and the achievement of a two-state solution. This certainly includes creating new settlements, building or legalizing outposts, or allowing building of any kind on private Palestinian land.
Did you hear what he said? He is extremely troubled. Guys, I have a question for you. Why on earth does the U.S. care so much about what Israel does, especially in their biblical heartland in Judea and Samaria? Also, why does the U.S. choose to condemn this audacious act when they really seem that they don't care about the horrific terrorism that is happening in Israel almost on a daily basis now? They're not coming out and condemning these attacks. They're not condemning the Palestinian Authority for paying the salaries of these terrorists, and they're not cutting the funding to the Palestinian Authority. Instead, they're choosing to condemn Israel for repealing the disengagement law for 4 communities. It gets worse. Israel's ambassador to the U.S., Michael Herzog, he was summoned by the U.S. State Department for a meeting with the Deputy Secretary of State, Wendy Sherman. Vedant Patel said in a statement that the meeting concerned the Knesset's approval of the law repealing the disengagement in northern Samaria. He also said that in the meeting, quote, the Deputy Secretary conveyed U.S. concern regarding legislation passed by the Israeli Knesset rescinding important aspects of the 2005 disengagement law, including the prohibition on establishing settlements in the northern West Bank. They also discussed the importance of all parties refraining from actions or rhetoric that could further inflame tensions leading to the Ramadan, Passover, and Easter holidays. As we know, establishing new communities will definitely inflame tensions, escalate tensions, and terrorism. That does not inflame tensions at all. I believe the last part that he was talking about could be also a reference to the controversial remarks made by Finance Minister Betzalel Smotrich. We're going to get into that in just a second. He said at an event in Paris that there's no such thing as Palestinian people. We're going to talk about that in a second. According to Arut Sheva, about this meeting between the Israel ambassador and the deputy secretary, they said, quote, a meeting of this type is very rare in Israel-U.S. relations and constitutes an official diplomatic protest. The Americans usually make sure to convey their messages to Israel without using these types of procedures. So America is especially furious this time as they are basically doing a diplomatic protest. They were summoning the Israel ambassador to correct him for these mistakes, basically is what is happening. Did you know that the reason 40% of the abortions in Israel happen is because of a lack of finances? Financial struggles can be overwhelming, but aborting a baby should never be the solution. There's an organization in Israel that's dedicated to helping pregnant women who are struggling financially and considering abortion. They provide support, counseling, and financial assistance to women who want to keep their babies but feel like they can't. They were founded on the belief that every life is precious and deserves a chance. We want to support them as they continue to provide essential support to women in Israel who are facing difficult pregnancies. Your donation can make a real difference in the lives of these women and their babies. So please, consider making a donation today. Together, we can support women who are facing difficult decisions and give them the help they need to choose life. Click the link in the description below to donate today. this is not the only thing that the U.S. administration is condemning Israel for at this point. America and the rest of the world, it seems, right now, they are condemning the finance minister, Betzalel Smotrich, which is not the first time that he's, being condemned by the rest of the world. But this time it's for remarks that he made in Paris last week. So there was a tribute event in memory of Likud activist Jack Kupfer. He died of cancer 2 years ago in Paris. So they're holding an event there in his memory. At this event, Smotrich made a speech. In the speech, he said this. And for this statement right here, the world blasted him. Smotrich also went on to say, he said, quote, no, he said he is a Palestinian, which, the world did not like that he said that. America especially did not like that he said he is a Palestinian. Guys, he's not wrong here when he says this. Palestine, the Palestinians were the Jews that were immigrating into what was then called Palestine. They were the real Palestinians, and the Palestinians of today are not actually Palestinians. Also, I thought this was great. During Smotrich's speech, he had a map of what could be called as Greater Israel with modern-day Jordan and all of Judea and Samaria on the map. It was displayed behind him, which I thought was quite a bold move. I think it's great. But the rest of the world did not seem to like this. Jordan called it, quote, reckless incitement and a violation of international norms and the Jordanian peace treaty. Lebanon said that they will, quote, take deterrent measures and reject the deliberately provocative statement aimed at abolishing a peaceful solution and exacerbating the deteriorating situation in the occupied Palestinian territories. The Biden administration, of course, they condemned it. Vedant Patel said, quote, the Palestinians have a rich history and culture. Wait. Really? They have a rich history and culture? Please show me the history books. Show me the museums with the rich history and the culture here. Sorry, you're not going to be able to find it because there is none. Also, the French Foreign Ministry called it, quote, infuriating and irresponsible. Guys, like to end the show on a positive note. Israel was just ranked the 4th happiest country in the world. So yes, while there is terrorism happening in Israel, while there is violence, even divisiveness, Israel was still ranked the 4th happiest country in the world. Guys, don't forget to join us in person as we rally to support Israel's heartland. We'll be hosting rallies in Nashville, Houston, and Dallas at the end of the month. Go to theisraelguys.com/rally or click the link in the description below. Make sure to subscribe, get the conversation going down below. And as always, tune out the fake news and tune into what is actually happening here in the land of Israel. We'll be back every Monday through Friday with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.